Perfect. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nuggets of Nothing podcast, the podcast where we learn about weird and interesting topics, and of that, we each have one topic that we learn, and hopefully it's something that can make everybody laugh, or at least you'll learn a thing. This week I'm joined by Jacob, and Jacob has this thing where he wants to have a rotating guest, but god damn it, I'm just going to keep pulling him in. I don't care what he says.
It's just me.
Well, okay, so last week I had Jason from the Mind Grenade podcast. He was on. I really appreciate him for doing that. And next week I'm going to have somebody different, and then the week after that should have somebody different too. So Jacob, you're going to get at least 2 weeks off.
Cool. Jason has been your second best guest.
Jacob has been my only second guest, so statistically speaking, yeah, he has been the best. And I have been told...
Did you say Jacob?
Jason. I said Jason.
I
don't know. It's recorded.
Jacob.
I'll go back and see. That's the beauty of this. We're always recording. But, so for this week, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start on this one. And my topic is a fool's errand. Do you know what a fool's errand is, Jacob?
Yeah, it's like an impossible task.
Yeah. It's normally it's given to people who just start a job and don't know that the task that they're about to do is an impossible task. So the people that have worked there for a long time give it to them as kind of a joke. Kind of like that. Rookie, go find me a left-handed hammer. Well, they're all left-handed, so they're universal. They all work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of something like that. But this week, I'm going to tell you that we actually got I'm going to say an invention. In reality, it's more of a modification to an invention that was supposedly supposed to be impossible. But it just, they figured it out. They worked it. So, did you know that most light bulbs before 1925 were actually supposed to be clear?
No.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Well, that was because it was saw as an impossible task to be able to try to coat the light bulbs with the white, milky white coating that's on the inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time that you would put the coating on, it would deteriorate the glass. Like it would last next to no time whatsoever. And so what they did was a rookie came in, a Marvin Pipkin came in 1925, and
that sounds like a nice early old-timey baseball player.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Like what's his name again?
Marvin Pipkin.
Marvin Pipkin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number 13, Marvin Pipkin, up to bat.
What
Bases
position would he
play? Your mom.
No, God.
Left field.
She listens, man.
How does she?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I know, right?
No, right field. What's the one that's worthless?
Right field.
Okay, that's the one I played.
Right field or second base, one of the two. But yeah, so he ended up he figured out by accident a way to make it possible to go ahead and be able to coat the inside of those glass, the glass for the light bulbs.
Every scientific discovery it was an accident.
I know. I was thinking about that whenever I was writing this topic. I was like, almost every scientific invention just seems like it was an accident by some form of the imagination.
They were going for something else and found that.
Yeah. Let's see. Wasn't the person that made the first sandwich? They didn't actually plan to make a sandwich. I think they were like.
The story goes is that it was like the Earl of Sandwich, and he was playing poker, and he didn't want to put down his hand, so he wanted to eat his meal with one hand and hold his cards with the other. So he just told a servant, "Hey, just put it bread, everything else in there." And then I think everyone else at the poker table was like, "That's a damn good idea. Hold on, you're onto something right there. Stop the game. What the hell's that?"
Just think he was like, at first he didn't say bread. He didn't go bread. He was actually like, just put the meat on the outside, put the bread, just layer it. Just layer it, doesn't matter. And then he looks at it and he goes, that's gonna be
too spongy.
It's too mess.
I don't like holding it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a mess. Give me some bread. Put the dry shit on the outside.
But just imagine if he didn't name it after where he was from, and he named it instead of after like his name. Like picture like Jarl. Like, oh man, I'm gonna go to Subway, get a couple of meatball Jarls. You want something?
I mean, is that far off
Or
from a
maybe,
euro?
maybe like way too normal. Like, hey, I'm gonna go get some Greg's. You want a Greg? I'm getting a turkey Swiss Greg. He's getting a meatball Greg.
Yeah, but that wouldn't sound weird. I mean, think about it. I mean, if
yeah, it's one of those things that if you've been calling it the whole time,
yeah,
it wouldn't be weird.
like it wouldn't be weird because it's like now if somebody just came up and they didn't know the word sandwich and we were just like, yeah, we're gonna go grab a couple sandwiches, they'd be like, what the fuck are you even talking about? What's a sandwich?
What does witchcraft have to do with anything? Is this about the beach?
Of course, you could say that about literally anything.
Yeah,
anything.
Right, I withdraw my statement.
That being said, though, so here's how it more or less came about, and I'm gonna very oversimplify it because to me it feels like it was a super simple thing that actually happened. But I'm sure that if he were the one telling it, he would just be like, no, like it was a pretty complicated process. And
let me tell you why I'm a genius.
He was just like, so he put it in a solution bath. And he was like, he was cleaning the glass, and then he cleaned the glass by using a little acid wash. And at first it was like, oh, that's the normal process whenever you're making a light bulb, anyways. But then he was like, he accidentally poured in a little bit more acid after he got done the first time, and so when it broke it down and put the crevices in it, it rebuilt on top of it. So it made it structurally sound to be able to put that like little milk coat or milk white coating on the inside of it. It's a complete accident. He just fucked up and put a little too much acid in there.
And then that's just what we run with now. I mean,
that's what we have now. Yeah,
all my light bulbs are clear, so I'm like, I guess I don't exactly think that it runs like that. Even on my other side of the room, they're all still clear too. So I guess it's whatever at this point.
I mean, either one works. The point was that back in the day, which all this happened in 1925, but back in the day, the light was so was too much of a strain on people's eyes, so they just couldn't see or like look at them. So they had to they almost had to wear like goggles when they would put
just
on,
imagine
or put
if
in
these
the light
people
bulb.
Ever learned about lampshades, just the that would happen. Their heads would explode. They'd be like, "Cover it, genius!
What? Cover it?
We made the damn thing white. Didn't know you could just put a hat on it."
Could you imagine? Just somebody, somebody was just like, they're just like, oh my god, it's so bright, and then all of a sudden the guy just comes in and he just like puts a thing over top of it, and the guy just goes, wait, hold on, what did you just do? Where'd you get, what do you call that? A lampshade.
Well, I imagine some guy looking at a light and just going like, and then going like, wait a second, hold on, like moving his arm up and down, like, hold on, I think I'm onto something here. Hold on, let me get something, and then just like going and grabbing like, I don't know, anything, and just fucking being like putting a sheet over it and being like, look at that,
yeah,
this is so much better.
He grabs a bowl and just flips it and puts it on top. He just goes, oh my god.
Or he grabs some sort of linen and it catches on fire, and he's like, well, it was a good idea for a minute. We can work around this. We can figure this out.
What doesn't burn immediately?
Have you ever heard of the how someone invented the wire hanger?
Mm-mm.
It was a dude who worked at like a factory that worked with wire, and he had to put his coat up, but he didn't have anything to hang his coat up with.
Mm-hmm.
So like he just went and grabbed some wire off the factory floor and bent it into place and hooked it and put it up. And his boss was like, "That's fucking genius." Patented it, stole it from this guy, and then I think he fired him. If I'm remembering correctly, I think he just was like, "Psyching ass, dude. That's a great idea."
Dude, that happens all the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean
that's the light bulb itself was Edison and Tesla.
Yeah, happens literally all the time. I mean,
I'm pretty sure
I told you about the story with my law professor. Whenever he worked at I can't say the name of the company. I don't think I'm allowed to. But
it rhymes with Schmalmart.
Well, no, he was a lawyer for I think a defense attorney, but like one of the defense attorneys there created a coloring book for autistic children.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we mentioned that on my podcast, Can't Sit Still. I say mine. It's in no way mine. I'm just the one who talks first every episode. But yeah, the other podcast.
Yeah, like this woman, she makes a coloring book for autistic children. It's a massive hit. They ask, "Oh, how much are you selling those for?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't sell them. I just give them away." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And so they all had a board meeting and said she has this invention, like she has this idea, and they were like, we got to figure out some way to steal it from her so that we can sell it. And so they found out the idea that she was using company supplies to make the product, and so they were like, since you use company supplies, that's our product. You did it on company time, and that's ours now. So you don't do anything with it. We patented it's ours. You can't do it anymore. And then immediately fired her. And then they turned around, they sold it. Autistic children weren't able to, or not. Well, obviously the autistic children were having issues paying for it. They're children. They don't have money.
The people who supplied them
Yeah.
with their livelihoods also couldn't afford it.
Exactly. Thank you, Jacob. But yeah, so, I mean, this happens like all the time. But I feel like this guy was just like, he just was like, I can't believe it. I did it. I did. But of course, he didn't know that it was supposed to be an impossible task. Because the whole point of a fool's errand. You never know.
Yeah.
Also seems like a massive waste of company money. To send a person on a task that you know is impossible.
Yeah.
Although, look what you get out of it.
I literally mentioned today at work that I was like, I really wish I just had an intern who got paid whatever just so I could make him do. I had one stupid task where I had to tie like 1,000 knots, or I had to tie 9, but I need to preemptively tie like 1,000 so that I don't have to tie anymore. And I was like, I just wish I could get some freaking just worthless little intern in here. I could just make him do whatever, because his first week on the job would be tie knots all day. To make labels and slip knots. That's all they would be used for. And I hate doing it because it's just tedious.
The band?
Slipknot the band? No, Tedious the band.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
I'm pretty sure the guy who invented plastic did it on accident too.
Everything's made on accident.
I just recently, like the X-rays, like that was an accident, unfortunately, because they gave him like crazy cancers. How that I think they were a couple. The scientist couple died.
I know of the actual story of how like condoms were made, but I want to believe that a guy just got tired of having children, went in the other room, got some saran wrap, wrapped it around his dick, put a rubber band around it, and like the woman was just so impressed that she slept with him right then and there.
The guy who invented the polio vaccine kind of, I mean, he didn't really do it on accident. He just was like observing all of the help, and if they'd get, I think it's called cowpox or something. It's not chickenpox, but they get cowpox, then they wouldn't get polio. And he'd be like, hold on, we onto something? And then I think he just took a nurse and gave her cowpox, and then was like, let's see, and then just injected her with polio, and she was fine. And he's like, fucking crazy.
It's crazy
like,
how
nuts.
sued I'm gonna get.
That's great how that you didn't get polio. And she's like, it is great, isn't it?
Could have been real fucking bad if I did.
Real bad, man. Really don't. I wish you would just kind of like, I don't know, test on something else instead of me, dude. I'm helping. I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, PETA gets all over my ass if I do this to a chimp, but if I do it to you, they don't bat an eye. So you it is. All right, I don't know what to tell you.
That's like the bit off of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Larry David is really mad at Jerry Seinfeld for getting what is it, a coffee, like a ring on the table, like a cup ring from coffee on the table, and he's like, dude, you are so upset. You care more about this wood than you do about some human lives. Yeah, well, it's nice wood.
I only,
You want to
I
go
only
on
have one table, but there's like a
Yeah.
billion lives. So
There's so many lives, dude, and I don't have to buy them, but I do have to buy a new table, or at least some varnish and a magic eraser to get rid of that.
yeah,
You want to move on to mine now?
sure. But
I kind of.
let's break for a second.
Oh, okay. I kind of teased at it. I thought you were gonna be like, "No, it's not long enough." Freak.
I can add in silence if I really wanted to. I didn't want
Cricket.
to.
I kind of teased at it last time I was on accident because I was sharing my screen. Balloon Fest, 1986, Cleveland disaster in the making. So picture this, Delvin. Are you picturing it?
Oh, Marty, yeah, picture. Oop, there it goes.
You're Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, and then you're the United Way, and you're trying to raise money for your organization and also raise awareness. So you think of a way to raise money and also make a spectacle of it so that you get your name really out there because this is pre-internet and everything. So you think, let's break a world record and release the most amount of balloons, helium-filled balloons in the air at once.
Did they know that we're running out of helium?
We weren't back then.
Yeah, but we are now, and that's the problem.
Yeah, you guys mentioned that last week, right?
I did.
Yeah, because I was like, I know about this, and I'm not on. I know about this one. It's used in a lot of medical equipment and stuff. It's good coolant, and it's a natural gas that is not like it's once you're out, you're out. It don't make no more. And
cut to fart joke.
Nice, but so they thought let's release a bunch of balloons and make it a world record. The previous world record to this one was in 1985, the 30th anniversary of Disneyland or Disney World, one of the Disneys. I think it was Land.
Which is where?
I don't have Land is in California.
Okay, cool.
World is in Florida. And I don't have the balloon count on that one. I just assume it'd be like 1.4 because normally when people go to break world records, it's not like, oh, that guy did 100 pogo stick jumps. I'm going to do 300. It's like, no, I'm going to do 101. That's like, so I imagine they probably released 1.4 million balloons and then they were like, cool, we're going to do 1.5. So they spend, I think it was, I think they did it in one day. I think it took 2 days though, or like a weekend, to fill up. Like they had a huge amount of people come out and it was really weird. Like if you watch, there's a ton of footage of it. There's like 10-story tall, like sort of scaffolding that spans across multiple blocks. Like it's huge. And on the top, it's this big, giant net. Picture like a football stadium or a baseball stadium with a retractable roof, but instead of a roof, it's a net. It's a net. And so what they do is they just like picture this is the nozzle. They just put the balloon on there, and they tie it off, and then they just let it go into the net. And I feel like a couple of people were like, "Dude, you're so missing. Like, you need to scoot over like 5 feet because you were just missing this net." And so I just can't believe they got to this point because I feel like at some point there's like 100,000 balloons in the air and they're just like, oh my God, like we should not have done this. Like that's not a lot compared to what the big max number we're going for is. And this is going to be a lot to release. So there's a storm coming in though. And they're like, shit, we have 1.5 million balloons in the air and there's a storm coming in. We got to do it now, or else this is all going to get fucked up. So they just go, cool, release it, countdown. And everyone needs to go look up the footage of the Cleveland 1986 Balloon Fest is what it's called. It is an unfathomable cloud of balloons, multiple clouds. It looks like a solid mass from a distance with how many balloons are packed in these areas. And they just release it. And at this point, you have to think, this was a terrible idea. Because it messed up so much stuff because the storm still came in and blew.
I'm looking it up right now, trying to. So that
right. And it blew everything off course. It affected airplanes. It closed down one airport. I don't know how, and I did not look into the specifics, but someone claimed that the balloons injured some prized horses, and we know someone who sells horses. Prize horses go for a lot of money, man. And so I think a balloon just fell and startled a horse and it ran and hit a fence or something and injured its leg or something. And you're like, that could be like a $2 million horse, man. Horses are so fucking
They are
expensive.
so expensive. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen real quick.
Go for it, my guy.
Give me 1 second.
Does it work from your end, or do I have to do it on my end?
It does. No, it works on mine. As soon as I figure out where it is at. Right there.
If you look... Yeah, there you go.
I got it. No, I got it.
All right. He's got it, everybody. He's got it. I'm going to watch along with... I'll talk over this so we don't get anything taken down. Sorry for all the audio listeners. I'll try and just be descriptive as possible, but I'll keep going. It's just... It's ungodly amount of balloons. So it affected... Yeah, look at all that. That's the giant net. And that's just all of the balloons floating up to it. And that's all the people who are just sitting there throughout an entire day just filling up balloons. And it's so crazy. I'll tweet out the link or something if I can remember on 2020 Broadcasting Twitter. Or no, it's can't. It's still Twitter. Or no, but you have Nuggets nothing. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
we'll do it on both. But it's fine.
The worst thing that happened was the storm affected the balloons and spread them all over Lake Erie. At the time at Lake Erie, there was a search and rescue mission going on. Now, watch this video. Imagine that cloud of balloons falling down on you while you're trying to find people who might be injured, dead, missing, or in trouble. They had to call off the search because this giant cloud of balloons landed and they couldn't see past it, they said.
How many actually there?
1.5 million.
They actually got to the full 1.5?
Yeah, they got to the full 1.5 million. Look at it. It looks like smoke.
Yeah, it looks like
a bomb went off, but it's balloons.
I mean, they're all excited about it, except for the person that's supposed to be getting rescued.
It's two fishermen on Lake Erie went missing, and they had to call off the search and rescue, and they ended up dying.
Oh, God.
And there's a plane go. So, yeah, this is all... this is the airport in question that got all the planes got grounded from it. Because look at that. It's just like overcast on a city, but it's balloons. You can't launch in that. And that's
crazy.
So the wife of one of the fishermen actually ended up suing both.
I would.
It was the company that organized the fest. It was United Way, the city, God. They sued everybody for $3.2 million, and they ended up settling out of court for an undisclosed amount. But it was just a disaster. They claim that the balloons are biodegradable. Now, just because they are, does not mean that did not affect wildlife.
I would say if I was the EPA, I'd be jumping all over their ass.
Oh my God, yeah, it affected wildlife in a big way too. So it was just
the government and go, what the fuck were you thinking?
How did they get this far?
What would stop them? What are you doing?
The city bought the balloons. How did you guys think this was a good idea?
It's 1986. Was the EPA a thing?
Yeah.
Sure I thought that was a more recent thing. Here's a third nugget for you.
I just put when was the EPA. Yeah, the EPA was in the 1970, December 2nd, 1970.
Okay, all right. I knew it was sort of recent, like it wasn't around for a super long time.
Yeah, no, it was under... Oh, fuck, who was president then? 1970 President Nixon.
I just realized it looked like I flipped you off, but actually I just was scratching.
Sure you were.
Yeah, well. But yeah, no, that's absolutely insane. Although I do have to kind of question... Because so you're going to launch this search and rescue. What do the balloons really stop?
They say they couldn't see through. I'm thinking what they were... I see. I don't know. They just say they couldn't see through like the fog of balloons. I guess that probably means they were trying to look through the water, but there were too many balloons and they couldn't really navigate and get through and look through the water because there were so many balloons. But I think at that point they're already dead. But still, you got to try and find them.
Yeah, and not only that, I feel like that was more of like a lazy excuse.
That's why they called it off. Yeah, they were just like, oh, thank God for these balloons.
Yeah. More or less, it's like, oh, fuck these two people, man. I really didn't want to get out of bed today, so, is what it is. But that's absolutely crazy.
Well, 1986, Balloon Fest, Cleveland, Ohio.
Jacob, give us another thing from 1986.
Rubik's Cube.
Oh. Fact check them, everybody. Everybody fact check that. fact.
Rubik's
check
Cube.
that.
Rubik's Cube. It just says 1980s.
Hey, but then you're close.
No. Oh, no, 1980. Oh, well. Oh, shit.
Oh, no. How can we trust anything that Jacob said now? All right, everybody. I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end it off. I think we had some interesting stories this week.
I think next time I come on, I'm going to bring another Cleveland story. I found another one while I was looking up this one. I found another one, and I just think it'd be funny if I just...
Yeah, you definitely should. You should definitely do another Cleveland one. So
for sure.
All right, well, everybody, you can find us on Nothing Nugs on Twitter. You can also go to our other podcast, Can't Sit Still Podcast. We do other things like this over there. It's a podcast more or less about crazy news stories that we try to make as fun and informative as possible. We do a little bit of streaming with our buddy Hipster Caius on Twitch. You should definitely go check us out there, and you should also check us out on hopefully more videos on our 2020 broadcasting on TikTok. We're going to be doing kind of some like little news segments there, and maybe I'll throw out some like weird, interesting facts that didn't quite make the cut for this.
They shot down my last idea for a TikTok.
It was a shit idea.
I got outvoted.
Technically, we didn't outvote you. We said do it, but just make it funny. Like, figure out how to make it fun. Do a thing.
And we won't talk about it, but it is funny in and of itself.
That's funny that you keep bringing it up.
Except for no one else thought so.
It's funny to me, damn it. All right, everybody. I think that's where we're going to end it off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Or listening. Whichever.